Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm happy to have you. Today is my 2-year BookTube anniversary, and what a ride it has been. Today, I have decided to do a Q&A because I have never done one on this channel, I don't think. And I thought after 2 years, I have, a few more subscribers than I had 2 years ago, and even a year ago. So I thought, maybe I would have a good amount of questions. You guys definitely came through. I had quite a few questions and I'm excited to answer them. So let's just get on with it, or else this video is going to be a million years long. Okay. We will set the wine down for now. So, first, I will go through the questions that I got on Instagram. So the first question comes from Ambi Crafts Reads, and she asks, who were some of the first booktubers you watched, and do you still watch them? And the first, I had to think about this. The first booktube videos that I probably watched were from Molly Reads and Katie from Life Between Words. And they just had like amazing ambiance, and they talked about books I had never really heard of up to that point, but they all sounded wonderful. And it just really got me pulled in to the booktube community, and kind of at the time I had no thought of ever making a video. I probably started watching them in 2017. And but the more I watched them and the more that I started snowballing into watching other people, I thought, hey, some of these people just sit in front of a camera and talk, and they don't have any like fancy filters or music or anything like that. I could probably do this. So Katie and Molly both took a hiatus for a while when they were both pregnant. And now that their babies are, significantly older, they are beginning to come back, which is really exciting. So I am still subscribed to them. And I have been watching Katie off and on for years, and Molly hasn't been around for a while, but now that she's back, I'm excited to see what she has in store. Oh, the second question that Ambi Crafts Reads asked is, why did you start your channel? And that is kind of a weird story. I'll try to be a little bit vague. But I used to be really involved with community theater. And in 2016, something happened in my life that kind of made me not want to be involved in that activity anymore. And because of that, I was very extroverted at that point, which I would say a lot of readers wouldn't say. I was very extroverted. I liked to go to all the theater parties. I had lots of friends. I was constantly out in the world. And this event that took place in 2016 just really made me, it just felt like I didn't want to be there. So I would come home and just sit, and I had no interaction with people. I would just read, and I kind of got lonely and wanted some socialization, but I didn't want to go out. And I didn't know where to go, because the places I had been prior to that event were just not places that brought me comfort at that point. So I started watching BookTube when I was by myself alone, and I would participate in these readathons, but I was just participating in them on my own. I didn't interact with anybody other than maybe in the comments, which is fine. That's great if that's what you're comfortable doing, and that was fine with me for a while. But then I thought, it'd be really fun to make content surrounding the readathons that I was finding that I really liked being involved in, and possibly even communicate with these what I considered like almost celebrity level booktubers. And so yeah, so then I just, at one point I was talking to my friend Marcia, who she has a YouTube channel for her art, and she kind of gave me some pointers on, just what to do, how to start a YouTube channel, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll give it a try and see what happens, and the rest is history. Oh, I better speed it up here. We're already 8 minutes in. Petra from Books with Petra asked, what is your favorite drink to have when reading? Petra, wine, of course. Yes, just wine, of course. Sometimes coffee, depending on what time of day. And probably, since all the overeating and overdrinking of the holidays, in January, it'll probably be a lot of water. Because your girl's got a detox. So my friend Christy from Christy Lewis Dostoevsky in Space asked, what is your favorite TV show? She asked a lot of questions, but the first one is, what is your favorite TV show? I don't actually watch TV anymore at all. I don't have any current TV shows. I mean, I know that I don't think there's a lot of new shows being made right now. But back when I did watch TV, I really liked The Big Bang Theory. When I was a kid, I liked the Little House on the Prairie series. And I would still watch that today. But yeah, probably my favorite current-ish TV show is The Big Bang Theory. And I also was really into Friends when that was a thing. Yeah, typical TV watcher. And then Christy's second question is, you can tell us the truth, really. Is romance your new favorite genre? As you know, I have started a book club with my friend Angie from Literary Labors called the Bitter Single Ladies Read Romance Book Club. And no, Christy, unfortunately, romance is still not my favorite genre, although I will say that I am less averse to it than I was a year ago. It all just depends. I would say that as far as the romance genre, which Chloe from Always Booked would tell me that this isn't even romance, but I would say like my subgenre of romance that I do enjoy is women's fiction, because it has a romantic element, but it's more like a rom-com sort of, or it has a like a deeper plot maybe, that doesn't involve the romance at all. Like the romance is just a side thing. And I think that that is what I really enjoy. I like there to be some romance because not my life, but most people's lives involve romance in some form. So, it just seems natural that there would be a romance involved, but not for it to be like the center focus. So I think that I'm still treading the waters of romance, but I can't say that it's my favorite genre still. But I am liking it a lot more than I used to. She also asks, who taught me the needle trade? Meaning that I like to knit now, and I cross stitch, and I used to, not so much anymore, but I used to crochet. So nobody really taught me to knit, honestly. YouTube taught me to knit. With some help from my friend Sarah from the Bookish Knitter, kind of cheering me on and helping me through the harder bits. But I basically learned to knit this year during all the lockdown stuff, and really just wanting something else to do with my time. And seeing all of the booktubers who knit made me kind of have FOMO, and I felt the need to be on board that party, and I did. As far as cross stitch, I learned cross stitch, I think, in junior high when they used to have home economics classes, which I don't know if they have anymore because that's probably like not politically correct or something like that. But but I learned cross stitch during that one of those classes, and I thought it was fun. And then I was really into it actually in junior high and high school, and I did some kind of big projects for like extra credit work at school and things like that. I made a Native American, like a big full coverage thing for an extra credit class for my history class. So that was fun. Actually, it was a little bit stressful because, I kind of pulled an all-nighter for this extra credit cross stitch that I made myself do. I didn't have to do it, but it's like, I'm gonna finish this thing. But I don't have it anymore because I think my history teacher kept it in his class. So that's nice. I don't really think anybody taught me. Actually, in college, I think my friend Caitlin tried to teach me to knit in college, and it did not go well. So I had a little bit of prior knowledge of the steps it took to knit in college, but I couldn't do it until this year. It was just too frustrating up until that point. Oh, and she also asked me an interesting question. What is my favorite place to find costumes? And actually, before this year, my favorite places to find costumes were Goodwill, and just like the costume shop at the theater, obviously, because they all have a plethora of period pieces that you could use. But now with Amazon, I can find like little pieces here and there on Amazon just for like Halloween costumes and stuff. So while that's not really the most, local friendly thing to say, right now, that's probably where I would get some. I don't really need costumes very much, but I have bought a couple of hats for Zoom parties on there. So, because really at this point, the only costumes that you would ever need are from here down, because nobody sees the bottom half. I'm wearing sweatpants right now, people. That's COVID life. Oh, my in real life friend Mike asked me what is a book that has changed my outlook on life. And Mike is a pastor. So my obvious answer to this question is going to be the Bible. Just because I am a Christian, and while I would say I have my struggles with Christianity at times. The Bible is definitely a book that I have read multiple times. Well, I should say I've only read it through probably twice in my life, and I actually think I'm going to try to read it through again in 2021. But yeah, you can always pull something out of there, no matter what. And it's just more on me to believe the things that are in there than oh yeah, I just feel like in college, definitely. I mean, I've grown up in a Christian home, my from birth, but our even our family Christianity journey has gone in a lot of different directions, and it probably wasn't until college I went to a small private Christian college near where I live, and it probably wasn't until then that I really kind of solidified my faith. Until then, it was just kind of like something that I just assumed that I was supposed to do. And then college, I think I really, because I was with a lot of like minded people and a lot of people that maybe knew the ins and outs of it a lot more than I had maybe grown up with, then I learned a lot more, and I think I got more involved in it then. But yeah, so the Bible is the choice for me. I know I'm going to say this Instagram handle name incorrectly. I know I am, but amlily03, amlily03. I probably said that wrong, and I'm sorry. She asked, "What is my favorite beer?" I don't have a typical or like a favorite brand that I like, but I am a dark beer girl. I tend to like lagers. I do like Sam Adams. If I'm going to choose like a normal brand that people can find easily, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I do like Sam Adams. I also kind of like Yingling, surprisingly. Uh, and I do, though, really like my local brewery's beers. And I have my like local Cheers bar type of a brewery that I go to, and but then there's like two or three other ones in my town that I really enjoy all of their beers. Like, there's always one that you don't really like. It's just not your cup of tea. But yeah, I'm probably like a lager girl. I do like Guinness. I am one of the few special people that likes a good Guinness, which I know in America is nowhere near as good as in Ireland, but it is what it is. I can only get it here. So I have had it in Ireland though, so that's exciting. So she also asks crochet or knit and what is my favorite thing to make. And at this point in time, I do like knitting better. I just think that it comes out cleaner. It looks more professional, at least the way I do it. Because I don't think that I ever really understood I don't know. Like, just the things that I make in crochet just don't look as professionally done as the things that I can make in knitting. So I definitely think that I like the final product of knitting better. Um, and at this point, I make socks like all the time. So that's probably my favorite thing to knit because I basically have a pattern now that I just pick a yarn that I like and I just go. And it usually doesn't take me that long to make at least one at least one sock. So I have made a couple of sweaters. They they're fun to watch them come together, but they can be very frustrating, at least in the arm region. I have yet to really master the art of putting on the arms. So I made a shirt this year, because I pretty much made everything I made this year, but I made like a lightweight sweater and it looks really pretty. But the longer I wear it throughout the day, the armholes just get ginormous. So I'm not really sure what to do about that. If there's anything I can do about that, it is what it is. But I'm learning. I'm working on it. Okay, and she also asked me what are the top 5 books I would recommend to anybody. Now, of course, you can't recommend a book to everybody because everybody has their own tastes. But I had to think about this earlier, and I would say that the ones that I would 100% recommend if somebody asks me, I have like one for multiple genres. Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell, all-time favorite classic at this point. Actually, though, I've only read it through once, so maybe that's a 2021 goal I should have, is to read it again to see if that still stands. Also, Passage to India by E.M. Forster. I'm going to be buddy reading this with my friend Joe this year and possibly Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. I'm waiting to see if that's one of the books she picks that she will be buying this year. And if she is, I might see if she wants to jump on board our buddy read. But I really like that book. It was my favorite book in college. And it's a little bit slower now. Like, I don't really think that it is my favorite now, but it's still really great. Sweep, The Story of a Girl and Her Monster by Jonathan Auxier. He is a local author to me, and that book it's a middle grade book, but it just blew me away. I didn't know half the things that were in there about chimney sweeps in Victorian London, and just the folklore that he brought into it and the emotion. It was fantastic. Everybody should read it. Even if you don't read middle grade, you should read it. And then I have a romance. Just One of the Guys by Kristen Higgins. If you don't think that you like romance, That one, I think, is like a good entry way into romance, and it is just hilarious. The characters are funny and like relatable. The I didn't ever think that the dialogue was that cheesy. And if it was cheesy, it was done in a like a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, like they knew they were being cheesy. Um, and it was clean. There was no like gratuitous sex scenes, which is my cup of tea if I'm going to read a romance. I don't like to read, I don't like to be right in the bedroom with them. I like it to be closed door or like not any door, just go right by it, fade to black. So, um, so yeah, those are, I think that's five. Did I get five? One, two, three. Oh no, that's only four. I'll have to think of a fifth one and I'll tell you later. My friend Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, she asks, if you could live anywhere in the world and money was not an option, where would you live? And I would say either Ireland or Hawaii. I have been to both of those places, and Ireland actually is, it kind of reminds me of where I live now, except for the buildings are a lot older and lovelier. And but like the greenery, like we have a lot of greenery where I live. So like the landscape in general is kind of like my area now, but just like the accent and just the history and yeah, and just the buildings, the architecture. Oh gosh, and yeah, I could go back there tomorrow and be perfectly happy. And then Hawaii, I was there in I think 2011 with a couple of friends. We went to Maui, and that was just gorgeous. Like I'm not really a beach person, but the the climate of Hawaii is just like perfect. I don't remember feeling there was one day where I felt too hot to be at the beach. But other than that, like there was just a breeze going all the time, and it rained every once in a while, and just everything about it was just like it was like being in a different country, and it's America still. Oh, and Victoria also asked me if you had to bring home a puppy or a kitten tonight or tomorrow, which would you bring? Oh, that's a hard one because I love both of them. But probably for my lifestyle, if I decided to get a pet, it would be a kitten. Because just cats in general are just easier to take care of. You don't have to be at home as much as a dog. And they can basically go in a litter box, and you don't have to worry about I gotta get home to take the cat out. Like they can go in a sandbox. um, so yeah, it's I think I would bring home a cat just for practicality. But I really love puppies too, so it's a hard sell. But Elizabeth Brink 25 asked, what is a way you've grown as a reader since you've been on BookTube? Well, I definitely read more broadly because I would have never said that I would read romance before I started BookTube. Um, and I definitely say that I read more than I ever did before. And that is thanks to audiobooks, which I didn't really ever think that I would like prior to starting BookTube. But now, just with all the readathons I do and like buddy reads and things like that, that I just like pack my months full of reading, audiobooks are really the only way I would get through it all. And now that I am so used to audiobooks, man, do I wish I had audiobooks in college because I would have done so much better. Honestly, good gracious. My friend Tanya from The Sampler Girl asked, what is the perfect vacation you'd take? I don't know. That is really a difficult question. I mean, I kind of feel like I've already taken my perfect vacations because I went to Ireland and Wales and England in the early 2000s. And then I went to Hawaii, and that just seems like those were like at the top of my list for places I wanted to visit. I would probably like to go back to Ireland and England. I was on like a tour type of a thing, so I didn't get to really experience any one place for very long. I actually think I would like to go back to England just because there are so many things to see in London alone. Just so many historical things that I didn't I didn't get to go to because we were only there for a couple of days. Um, and just like be on my own schedule instead of a tour. I mean, that was a great way to experience it for the first time, but I think I would like to just go with one other person now and just get to go to all the literary places that nobody cared about when I was there before. So yeah, I think that might be my perfect vacation. Krista from Books and Jams asked me, biggest unexpected joy or challenge of BookTube. And my favorite BookTube memory of the past 2 years. I can't really say that I have a memory of the last 2 years. It's just all been fun, but it's all been a whirlwind too. Just trying to find time to make videos has been more of a challenge than I suspected it would be. And just the technical challenges of it all. I'm still trying to work out, like, do I need to get a bigger camera? Do I need to get, a better computer, that kind of thing. So that's been a challenge. As far as the memories, it's just been the friendships that I've made, which I know is like the cliche answer, but just through buddy reads and read-alongs and readathons, I have just been able to talk to so many people. And I would have never been one of those people that believed that you could actually make friends with a person and like feel like you actually do know them just from the internet. But I actually do feel like I could go visit some of these people in real life and not feel weird about it. Like not feel like they were going to murder me or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, at the same time, it just feels like I've really made a lot of friends. And I'm hoping that at some point I get to actually meet some of you. That would be nice. And the last Instagram question, which I think means that I might put this into two parts and maybe post another one tomorrow, is from my friend Amanda from her Pacific Northwest Washington life. And she asks, if you could have tea with any three people, living or deceased, who would you pick and why? And that was pretty easy for me. Jane Austen, definitely. And all of these people are dead, actually. Apparently, I don't want to meet anybody that's alive. Except for my BookTube friends, of course. So yeah, Jane Austen, John Lennon from the Beatles, and Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare would probably be quite an interesting guy to meet. And yeah, John Lennon, I just always liked him a lot. And I just like to pick his brain and, yeah, kind of just ask him, like, why he made some of the decisions that he made. And, yeah, and probably get him to sing for me, because really, that's all I want. And Jane Austen, because it's Jane Austen, and who doesn't want to have tea with Jane Austen? My goodness. So, yeah, those are the Instagram questions, and I think that I will split this into two parts and do the YouTube questions in a separate video. Maybe I will post both today. We shall see. All right, friends, I will be back shortly. Okay, bye.